I'm back with my 3D printer. I'm thinking I'm gonna run out of filament before this print finishes, but it's okay. It is okay. It's really cool looking though. So I got some news. I'm gonna do some news. This is gonna be my first news back of the week. After Monday, I do news Monday. I think I did news Monday. What's up, Kuma? I'm finna. Trying to get through the week? Yeah, I feel that. Tomorrow's Friday, though. Tomorrow is Friday. I forgot. I'm supposed to be reading the news. I have the news here set up. I'm just waiting for people to come in, I guess. So I probably shouldn't be getting distracted typing to people and stuff. My printer is running right now. I'm printing something that, if the print finishes, we'll see what it is. If it doesn't finish, then I'll say what it is. I kind of don't want to spoil it. Ooh, it's moving though on the table. So yeah, I'm probably gonna need glue or something, like a glue stick. They told me to get a glue stick and I didn't listen. What's up, Jen? Yeah, I haven't been doing the news. That's my bad. I'm gonna get to that. So I've low key been kind of getting burnt out. So I didn't think I would get burnt out, but I kind of am. So I think I'm just gonna do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We'll do Mortal Mondays, which will be a lot of news because I'm going to go back to reading the news between matches in the tournament. And then Wednesday is going to be Wildin' Wednesdays, where I just kind of do whatever because I'm wildin'. But news there as well, of course. And then Fridays, I'll do news. And then, Friday night fights, I'll do the King of the Hill. So I'll do player matches on Unreal Tournament. And this week I'm also going to make a switch to, it's not something you'll notice on your end unless my quality of my stream goes up, but I'm going to switch to just plain OBS instead of Streamlabs OBS so that it'll use less resources on my computer. The thing is, I'm going to still be playing for Streamlabs Prime because my domain is really cool. Like the fact that I own endlesscemetery.com, and when you go to it, it's just like links. It's basically like a link tree of all my streams and stuff. I enjoy that a lot because I can also put other bars in there for like if I get this 3D printing thing happening, like, or like a merch store or anything like that, I can totally toss it in there. Although that's stuff that's probably not gonna be in play for a while. But I got some news here I can start reading. Hold on, let me make sure. Is this an op-ed? Because this, I'm not even gonna. Yeah, it is. I don't even feel like reading that. Sorry. I had Tucker Carlson thing that looked interesting, so I just clicked on it and didn't read it or anything. Check it out beforehand. But what the fuck is this? I'm sorry. I was reading another. What's the advantage of multi-streaming with OBS instead of SL OBS? The advantage is OBS uses less resources. It's less taxing on your computer than Slobs is. So like I do a lot of my streaming through the CPU anyway because my CPU is so good. So it will use up less CPU and RAM, I think. But yeah. Because I don't know if you noticed, like, when the action gets super, when my PS4 is really going, or the game or whatever I'm playing is really going, especially when I'm playing on PC, like Hunt has a lot of the popping graphics that happen a lot because of the resolution I have to play on. Because all I have is an RX 480. That's something I want to upgrade in the future. But the stream gets really pixelated. Like my face gets really distorted and stuff. It's like a bad Zoom call or something. But so I'm gonna lead off with some news that the homie DC Metal Chris sent me. Shout out to DC Metal Chris, because that's another difficult thing to do is like straight hunt down news to read on here. Because there's stuff that I'm passionate about and the stuff that I get curious about. But now it's like there's so much stuff that I feel like I would want to cover that it's hard to really pick what specific things to like read or talk about. So that's definitely a cool thing if people want to message me stuff that's in the news, because we kind of already do that anyway, right? In chat, people will come in and like say stuff that's happening in their area or whatever. But I'm totally cool with you sending me news and stuff to read like ahead of time before I start streaming, because that actually would really help me a lot. But here we go. We got this first piece of news here about cops sucking. Surprise, surprise. Yo, what's up, King Red X? Good to see you. So this is about how cops suck, naturally. A violent, bigoted cop accused of beating another cop is upset his text messages expose him as a violent bigot. Lawyers for a cop. Thank you for the follow, EnterZone78. I appreciate you. Lawyers for a cop accused of beating an undercover cop during a 2017 protest are pretty angry. Prosecutors have let the public know just what kind of bigoted dirtbag the indicted officer is. St. Louis police officer Dustin Boone, along with 4 other officers, attacked undercover officer Luther Hall. Boone is white. Detective Hall is black. This is relevant information even if Boone's lawyers are claiming his texts, which contain plenty of bigotry, aren't. Boone's legal rep is seeking to have prosecutors sanctioned for bringing Boone's texts to his prosecution. Boone's attorney, Patrick Kilgore, argues in a court filing that the now public information is inflammatory, irrelevant, and highly prejudicial, and disclosing them violates a judge's order to file much of the information under seal. He notes that the St. Louis Post-Dispatch wrote about the texts and other information from the prosecutor's filing and claims it could taint the jury pool and keep Boone from receiving a fair trial. Sorry, I wanted to say filling really bad for no reason, but they're definitely inflammatory. How could they not be? These are former Officer Boone's own words, and they seem relevant as they make it pretty clear how easily a bigot like Boone could mistake a black undercover officer for a protester in need of a beating. Here's Boone in a group text to other St. Louis police officers a few months prior to the beating he's now facing charges for. Sounds like an Onion headline? Yeah, doesn't it? Hey, thank you for the follow, Bad Birdie. It's already a state of emergency. There are N-words. I don't know if I want to say that. You know, Twitch TOS and whatnot. Even though I am black, I just don't even want to. There are N-words running wild all across the city, and even if I'm sorry, he can't fucking. Oh my god, there's a cop who can't read. Isn't it? You guys don't find it scary that you have cops that can't read? Like people, like just out of the illiterate people you know, like people that you graduated high school with that you know for a fact can't read. Like you watch teachers pick them to read shit out loud, like for the class, and they would just stutter and stop. And it was like the today junior type people that just like, dog, you're like fucking like 14, 15 years old and you cannot fucking read. You know what I mean? Cops are scary regardless. Yes, this is true. Cops fucking suck, but it's just it's crazy to me that like the bar is set so low for being a cop that people that can't read can be cops. You know what I mean? Oh, you can't read? Here's a fucking gun. Basically, here's a badge, and you can do whatever the fuck you want to anyone, and you're gonna get away with it because you have this entire union that will back you. That is actually the agents of the law in America. But yeah, it's already a state of emergency. There are N-words running wild all across the city, and even if when we catch them, they don't get in any trouble because there are plate lips running the CAO. Plate lips? Whoa. This motherfucker is racist, dude. And I'm saying, okay, so there's, in the gradient of racism, there's like people, it's like conservatism, you know what I mean? There's us like on the left who are generally non-racist people, or at the far left you have anti-racist people, and then you have non-racist people, and then closer to the middle you get the I don't see color, I just think nobody should say it, those types of people in the middle, right? And then eventually you get to like people who have just used the N-word, you know what I mean? People who have just used the N-word, this is America. The N-word is a common slur, like everyone knows what the N-word is, but for you to straight say something like plate lips, like, that's fucking racist, dog. That's fucking racist. Like, to a level that's like fucking, like, this guy probably has the 14 words tattooed on his body somewhere. Like, for anyone who does in the audience who doesn't understand what plate lips is, it's the like African like stereotype, like basically the shit that Dr. Seuss just recently got clapped for, where like you imagine fucking black people in Africa with like dirt all over their knees and hands and shit, and a bone in their hair with a little thing, you know what I'm saying? And then they have plates in their lips and giant ass lips and shit. Just like ignorance. God bless you if you don't understand what I'm talking about. I sincerely wish I were you, and that I could be that like protected from the world. But yeah, what I'm describing to you is like an extremely fucking racist stereotype that only an extremely fucking racist person would make reference to. But here's what the CAO reference means. CAO is apparently a reference to the St. Louis Circuit's Attorney's Office, which is under the supervision of the city's first black circuit attorney, Kim Gardner. Oh my god, dude. That's not the only one containing the N-word. This term was used in a group text to Kayla, Kelsey, Mom, Ashley, Marie, Dad. He sent, dog, he was saying the N-word in front of his parents? Yeah, this motherfucker's racist, dude. What city are we in? These fucking N-words are the same as St. Louis N-words. Yeah, this dude is definitely fucking racist. This is someone that hates black people. Like, not just like systemically the actions that they participate in on a daily basis just happen to coincide with white supremacy. Like, this dude legitimately fucking hates black people, and he is a police officer. So the lawyer for this lovely person wants these texts tossed and prosecutors sanctioned for introducing highly prejudicial information. And, to be fair, it will certainly make jurors feel things about Boone that they likely wouldn't have felt without them. But is it too unfair? It certainly seems relevant, not just because of how Boone apparently views black people, because it also shows how gleefully he participated in the beating of a fellow officer. Yeah, he's upset that he's like, why would you show people these text messages that display exactly what type of character I have? Why would you show text of me saying racist shit in a trial where I'm trying to prove that I'm not racist? Prosecutors say that Boone hooked his phone on his uniform and live-streamed Hall's beating for Ditto. The hour-long video wasn't saved, but prosecutors say Ditto's messages back and forth with Boone prove that she watched what happened and that Boone was involved. Afterward, Ditto wrote, "That was so cool." What the fuck? This isn't a fucking... It's not a fucking shaky phone cam video of a Coldplay concert in front row. Like, this is a fucking... police brutality, dog, and you're like, that was so cool. What's up, Rexky? Oh my goodness. Perhaps the most memorable part of this exchange, other than Boone's sudden contrition after the news came out he had beaten an undercover detective, is his girlfriend's response to the beating. Everyone tells you just comply with cops' orders if you don't want to get hurt. Here's a civilian take, and it's a good one considering it's from someone who was in a personal relationship with a cop. But damn, you guys need to practice more. Even I was confused. One guy was saying hands down, hands down. Next dude saying hands up. Then hands down, get your fucking hands up. Got a light, thanks for the follow. This is a racist cop who went to a protest to beat on what he thought was a protester, but actually turned out to be another undercover cop. This is a white cop who beat up this other black undercover cop. And now they are in court trying to demonstrate that the white cop is racist and is prejudiced towards black people. I'm just seeing a bunch of new heads coming in here. This story is really fucking good. Should I start it from the beginning? Because I see Rexy in here, I see Bad Birdie in here now. There's a few people in here that weren't in here before. So I'm thinking about just starting this from the top because this one's juicy. This is some of my favorite news to read in a while, I'm not going to lie. You love to see that cop on cop violence. Alright, so I'm going to start from the top for the people who just showed up. Hello, welcome to my stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night at 10 p.m. At the very least, it used to be weeknights, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. I read the news and I play video games, but this is kind of my thing. 10 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I read the news. A lot of the time it's like about terrible cops or like Israel and Palestine. Basically just a lot of fucking news about like violent revolution and stuff. That's kind of my thing. So yeah, this story is wild with how brazen he is about being racist. Yeah, I spent a few seconds on that for people who didn't come in here. If you haven't, okay, I'm just gonna start reading it because I'm not doing it justice talking about it. Lawyers for a cop accused of beating an undercover cop during a 2017 protest are pretty angry. Prosecutors have let the public know just what kind of bigoted dirtbag the indicted officer is. St. Louis police officer Dustin Boone, along with 4 other officers, attacked undercover officer Luther Hall. Boone is white. Detective Hall is black. This is relevant information, even if Boone's lawyers are claiming his texts, which contain plenty of bigotry, aren't. Boone's legal rep is seeking to have prosecutors sanctioned for bringing Boone's texts to his prosecution. Boone's attorney, Patrick Kilgore, argues in a court filing that the now public information is inflammatory, irrelevant, and highly prejudicial, and disclosing them violates the judge's order to file much of the information under seal. He notes that the St. Louis Post-Dispatch wrote about the texts and other information from the prosecutor's filing and claims it could taint the jury pool and keep Boone from receiving a fair trial. They're definitely inflammatory. How could they not be? These are former officers Boone's own words, and they seem relevant as they make it pretty clear how easily a bigot like Boone could mistake a black undercover officer for a protester in need of a beating. So, yeah, here's Boone in a group text to other St. Louis police officers a few months prior to the beating he's now facing charges for. It's already a state of emergency. There are N-words, I'm not going to say that, Twitch or whatever, but it's the hard R, suffice it to say. It's already a state of emergency. There are N-words running wild all across the city, and even when we catch them, they don't get in any trouble because there are plate lips running the CAO. So I talked about this for a few seconds earlier, but like plate lips is fucking racist, dog. Like I was trying to basically in so many words, I explained how there is the gradient of racism where like on the super far left is like anti-racists, and then there's non-racist people, right? And then the closer to the middle of the racist gradient you get the like, I just think nobody should be able to say it. I don't see color. I'm colorblind. I would have voted for Obama a 3rd time if I could. You get those people, you know what I mean? And then you get people who have said the N-word before, right? Because this is America and the N-word is unfortunately very common in the American lexicon, no matter who you are. It just is a fact. It's a very American word. And then past that, you have people who would call black people things like plate lips. Like, damn dog, that's how you see black people? It's just like the dusty African stereotype with the plate in his lip. Like, bro, like you're fucking racist. Like, That's racist. That's fucking hella racist. I don't know. Like, there's no way that I could describe to you how much more racist that is. Like, that is a person who actively hates black people. I don't just mean like a person is racist, like they participate in the act of white supremacy or racism just as a matter of their actions that they've learned or that they take throughout life. I'm talking about this person hates black people. Like, hates fucking black people. And also, so here's what the CAO reference means. CAO is apparently a reference to the St. Louis Circuit's Attorney's Office, which is under the supervision of the city's first black circuit attorney, Kim Gardner. So he's talking about his own, like, top cop, basically. That's not the only one containing the N-word. This term was used in a group text to Kayla, Kelsey, Mom, Ashley Marie, and Dad. So he was saying the N-word to and with his parents. Like, they are fucking racist, dog. Those are people that, like, I want to live like outside of a 30-mile radius of whatever fucking town they live in, because that is a sundown town. If you got a town full of people like that, yeah, and they're all and they're cops too, that is some Lovecraft Country type shit. So what city are we in? These fucking N-words are the same as the St. Louis N-words. So the lawyer for this lovely person wants these texts tossed and prosecutors sanctioned for introducing highly prejudicial information. And to be fair, it will certainly make jurors feel things about Boone that they likely wouldn't have felt without them. But is it too unfair? It certainly seems relevant, not just because of how Boone apparently views black people, but because it also shows how gleefully he participated in the beating of a fellow officer. This is where it gets crazy. Prosecutors say that Boone hooked his phone on his uniform and live streamed Hall's beating for Ditto. The hour-long video wasn't saved, but prosecutors say Ditto's messages back and forth with Boone prove that she watched what happened and that Boone was involved. Afterward, Ditto wrote, "That was so cool." Like she just watched her fucking high school boyfriend send her a video from front row at Bullet for My Valentine concert. Perhaps the most memorable part of this exchange, other than Boone's sudden contrition after the news came out he had beaten an undercover detective, is his girlfriend's response to the beating. Everyone tells you just comply with cops' orders if you don't want to get hurt. Here's a civilian take, and it's a good one considering it's from someone who was in a personal relationship with a cop. But damn, you guys need to practice more. Even I was confused. One guy was saying hands down, next dude saying hands up. Then hands down, get your fucking hands up. And that's not the end of the disturbing communications. So if you didn't understand what just happened there, you had officers giving completely conflicting demands. And this is a situation where if you don't, they have the right, the public in the court of public opinion, to fucking psychopaths. If you don't do exactly what they say in this exact moment, they have the right to fucking riddle you with bullets and murder your ass, and will be called heroes for doing so in certain circles, right? And they're telling you to do completely, if two people are yelling at you, right? One person is yelling at you, put your hands up. Other person is yelling at you, put your hands down. And they both have a gun pointed at you, and they both will readily shoot you if you don't do exactly what the fuck they say. Like, what do you do? What is the option there other than to just get fucking ventilated? You know what I'm saying? Sounds like one of the Ferguson cops? Yeah. They are evidence to show how he is racist. Like, yes, they should be in court. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's not the end of the disturbing communications. Oh, boy. See, I hadn't read this far yet, so this is going to be a journey, too. This is already the crazy part for me to explain to y'all, but I haven't read the rest of the shit. I didn't know it gets even more wild. Let me hold on. Let me buckle in really quick for this one. Yeah, there's more. But wait! There's more! And that's not the end of the disturbing communications. There are multiple texts celebrating excessive force use, including Boone's efforts to ensure these beatings weren't captured by nearby CCTV cameras or bystanders. Wow, so not only were they beating people's asses, they were making sure they were like leading people into alleys and shit so they could beat their asses with no witnesses. There's a text suggesting Boone stole money from a crime scene. Oh, that's cool. There's a whole string of texts detailing he and his fellow officers' abuse of prescription drugs like Adderall and Concerta. And, I mean, who doesn't fuck with Adderall a little bit here and there? You know what I'm saying? It's Adderall. It's the only thing more American than the N-word is Adderall. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And this print is definitely not going to complete before I run out of filament, but that's okay because I was going to try and use up this bullshit filament anyway. I'll show you guys what it is though. Here's his recommendation to fellow officer Kyle Santa, who was asking on behalf of another police officer. Depends on if he wants to feel like he feels like seeing in HD and making night turn into day, Adderall, or if he just wants to feel a really, really focused white guy, Concerta. Adderall is essentially cocaine base in a compressed pill form. It's pretty special. It makes you chew on your tongue and lick your lips like a crackhead, and you can't stop talking for the first 8 hours. It is also nearly impossible to get drunk and cures hangovers in a matter of 11 minutes. Jesus Christ, dude. This guy... This is low-key. If he wasn't such a fucking racist piece of shit, I might want to have a drink with this guy. If he wasn't like an actual cop, like a racist piece of shit cop. 'Cause he sounds lit. Sure, I can see why Boone's lawyer wants these messages kept out of court. They make his client look like a violent, racist drug addict. That's certainly not going to help, not when his lawyer's trying to clear him of charges related to the violent beating of a black man. One that Boone seemingly would never have regretted if the beating victim hadn't turned out to be a fellow officer. Even if Boone's lawyer manages to get these texts tossed and the prosecutors sanctioned, they'll hopefully be enough to prevent Dustin Boone from ever wearing a badge again, and should serve as a wake-up call for all the officers he worked with, the ones who ignored his violence, racism, and drug abuse until he made the only unforgivable mistake, beating up another cop. Wowee, wow, wow, wow. How many addies is he taking where he's chewing on his tongue? He must be sniffing them is the only thing that I can think of. Like, dog, of course you're going to be fucking fiending and doing fiend shit if you crush them up and snort them. That's literally fiend shit. Why would you do that? So, what up, King Red X? I'm glad you were gone for everything that we just talked about. Do they react differently by how you consume? Yeah. So when you eat stuff, it has to be broken down in your stomach and hit the mucous membranes in your stomach and be absorbed into your bloodstream that way until it crosses the blood-brain barrier. But through the way that I just mentioned, it goes directly into the mucous membranes in your sinuses, and that goes into your bloodstream in there, and that goes directly to your brain. Like, it crosses the blood-brain barrier pretty immediately. That's like the fastest way, other than like just straight up yeah. Anyway, I kind of got off topic there somehow. Let's talk about Matt Gaetz, because this is more Gaetz shit. The scandal surrounding Representative Matt Gaetz has now ensnared Joe Ellicott, a friend and former employee of a tax collector who has already pleaded guilty to an array of crimes associated with the probe. Joe Ellicott, why did I say Ellicott? I literally am from a place where Ellicott City is. Anyway, so Joe Ellicott, the associate of Joel Greenberg, was included in a federal grand jury subpoena sent to a different individual that was obtained by Politico. The subpoena also lists Gaetz and Greenberg, the former Seminole County tax collector who this week pleaded guilty to 6 federal crimes on Monday, including sex trafficking of a minor. Yeah, this fucking guy. It's lit. Hold on, there's I guess there's some stuff. I don't know if that's necessarily related to this. I'll hit F5 to see. Yeah, okay, here we go.
surrounding Representative Matt Gaetz has now ensnared Joe Ellicott, a friend and former employee of a tax collector who has already pleaded guilty to an array of crimes associated with the probe. Joe Ellicott, the associate of Joel Greenberg, was included in a federal grand jury subpoena sent to a different individual that was obtained by Politico. The subpoena also lists Gaetz and Greenberg, the former Seminole County tax collector who this week pleaded guilty to 6 federal crimes on Monday, including sex trafficking of a minor.
Okay, I guess. Oh, Nessa. Oh, wow. That's not live. That's not live. Are we? Did we just happen to catch it at the perfect moment?
Astronauts from 3 countries on Crew 2, now making their way to the one and only International Space Station. Stage performance so far.
Yeah, that's not fucking live. I mean, that's tight though. That's pretty cool. That shit's bright.
Falcon 9 will be throttling down the 9 Merlin engines shortly here in preparation for...
Damn, that shit was bright. Damn, that's straight up in space. That's wild. That looks like CG. That don't even look real. See, that looks like that doesn't even look real. Now I understand why people think the world is flat. That looks like some CG. Yep, there goes the last of my filament. So anyway, about this creepy ass dude, Matt Gaetz. Where was I? Oh, yeah. The subpoena, which was issued on December 28th, says the grand jury is investigating alleged crimes involving commercial sex acts with adult and minor women. Is what minor women? Huh? It's a child. As a child, we're talking about 17-year-old women. Like, what are we doing? I don't think that's how that works. But anyway, as well as obstruction of justice. Ooh, that's a biggie. It is looking to obtain any communications, documents, recordings, and payments the subpoena's recipient had with Ellicott, Gaetz, and Greenberg since the start of 2016. Is this guy going to get kicked out of office soon? Well, see, that's the thing. Who knows? But anyway. 2 sources familiar with the inquiry told Politico that Ellicott is also being investigated over allegations he engaged in sex trafficking with a minor. What is with this shit, dude? Why do they want to fuck kids so bad, dog? Like, I don't know. Gates' office did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Hill. The Florida Republican has said in the past that he barely knew Ellicott. The subpoena also mentions Halsey Beshears, a former Republican state House member associated with Gaetz. Ellicott was a close friend of Greenberg, who was later hired to be part of his office once Greenberg was elected tax collector. Ellicott was ultimately accused of sexually harassing a woman who worked in the Seminole County tax collecting office. Greenberg admitted this week as part of his plea deal that he recruited women for commercial sex acts and paid them more than $70,000 between 2016 and 2018. He also said he paid at least one underage girl to have sex with him and other men and introduced the underage girl to others who also engaged in commercial sex acts. Greenberg also pleaded guilty to counts of fraud, stalking, and aggravated identity theft. Greenberg's cooperation with prosecutors raises the legal jeopardy surrounding Gaetz, who has denied that he ever paid women for sex or had sex with underage girls. And I bet the people who came in here the day that we found out about that shit to fucking talk shit and say that it's just a liberal conspiracy, they're feeling pretty fucking stupid right now. Yo, what up, Jerson? And yes, that is the R word. That is not sexual activity, because sex happens between 2 consenting adults. So that's a different word, what you would call that. So he got on Tucker's show and admitted it? Yeah, he told himself. He self-reported pretty early. It was pretty nuts how quick that self-report was. And the crazy thing is that he didn't even put sus on himself to the conservatives. Like, normally, a self-report that fucking blatant, that's like venting early on. But it's like he straight up vented in front of the Republicans. And they were like, nah, he's going to kill me last. I like this guy. I like the cut of his jib. He's gonna kill everyone else. He's not gonna kill me. I that's basically how the Republicans did the January 6th event. They're like, yeah, we know he's the killer. Like, he's sus as fuck, but he didn't kill us. So it is what it is. If you're a person that he wants to kill, sorry about you, because we win without you either way. But this is some funny shit that helps absolutely no one while we're talking about funny shit. There's a new hate crimes law apparently that is going to make a magical barrier, a force field around all of the Asian people in America, and anytime a white supremacist tries to punch them in the face, their hand will just immediately fucking shatter from the sheer strength of the new Iron Dome that has been removed from Israel's airspace and now put around every single individual Asian person in the country. So, following overwhelming support from both chambers of Congress, President Biden signed legislation Thursday that addresses hate crimes throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, with particular emphasis on the increase in violence against Asian Americans. At an event in the East Room of the White House, Biden thanked lawmakers for coming together to pass legislation. He said standing against hatred and racism, which he called the ugly poison that has long haunted and plagued our nation, is what brings Americans together. Yeah. My message to all of those who are hurting is, we see you, and the Congress has said, we see you, and we are committed to stop the hatred and the bias, he said. Alright, this is just like imagine being just some fucking, imagine you have like an old ass grandpa, right, and that has like no idea why people in the country are racist, right? That some racist people just exist, and that in order to be racist, you have to say the N-word with the hard ER and be like that cop we just read about where you're calling people plate lips and stuff. Those are the only actual racists in America, and there's only like 1 out of 50,000, right? But you find out that they're just going around beating people up, I guess, and you're just like, I'm just gonna make the thing that was already illegal to do just even more illegaler, so that the police are probably the ones doing it. But if they catch you and they're not police, you're not police when they catch you, you'll get even more probably not punished. But hate has no place in America, and I look forward to making that clear this afternoon by signing the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act into law. Hate crimes! COVID-19, people are beating up Asian people because of COVID-19. That ain't nice. Make them stop. Yeah. America was built on hate, facts. But the legislation introduced by Representative Grace Meng and Senator Mazie Hirono aims to make, I'm sorry if I butchered those names, aims to make the reporting of hate crimes more accessible at the local and state levels by boosting public outreach and ensuring reporting resources are available online in multiple languages. Oh man, if you get your ass beat on the street, just like fucking hop on the computer and hit the chat line. They made sure that someone speaks your language so you can hit the snitch net. You know what I'm saying? It also directs the Department of Justice to designate a point person to expedite the review of hate crimes related to COVID-19 and authorizes grants to state and local governments to conduct crime reduction programs to prevent and respond to hate crimes. Oh my goodness. Vice President Harris introduced Biden ahead of the signing and reflected on the increase in violence against Asian Americans. This violence, it did not come from nowhere, and none of it is new. In my life, my lived experience, I have seen how hate can pervade our communities, she said. Harris, who was the first Asian American vice president, my friend Anubis, shout out to my boy Anubis, because he knew that this is the exact type of id poll they were going to play with this, and that this was going to come into play. So shout out to Anubis 2GL, because you definitely called them playing the first Asian American vice president angle. But anyway, added, I have seen how hate can impede our progress, and I have seen how people uniting against hate can strengthen our community. Harris noted that The work to combat racism doesn't end with the signing of the bill. Oh, no shit. Here's the truth. Racism exists in America. Xenophobia exists in America. Anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homophobia, transphobia, it all exists. And so the work to address injustice wherever it exists remains the work ahead, she said. The signing comes 2 days after the House of... And this was like just after they donated like $35 billion to Israel or some crazy shit like that. The signing comes 2 days after the House of Representatives passed the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act by a vote of 364 to 62. All 62 votes against the bill were from Republicans, naturally. The Senate approved the legislation last month with near unanimous support. Missouri Republican Josh Hawley was the sole senator to vote against the bill, of course. Because that would be big government, you know what I'm saying? And we don't want big government. We want small government so that if you're brown or just a person of color, you can get your ass beat in the weeds. And if you're mad, just go get a gun and come back and shoot them, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't depend on the police. Why them though, Bird? I know exactly what you mean by that question. I know exactly what you mean by that question and how you worded it. You fucking used 3 words, and I know exactly what you meant by that. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell from Kentucky attended Thursday's ceremony along with a number of Democrats, advocates, families of victims of hate crimes, and others. Senator Susan Collins, who helped co-author a key provision that paved the way for the bill's passage, was also in attendance. How long is this? Okay. Asian Americans have faced a dramatic spike in violence throughout the pandemic. The organization Stop AAPI Hate documented 6,603 hate incidents from March 2020 to March 2021, and leaders said the true number is much higher as many hate crimes go unreported. Surprise, surprise. Democrats have pointed to former President Donald Trump's frequent use of racist phrases like Kung Flu to describe the coronavirus as a link to the increase in anti-Asian sentiment in the country. Stop AAPI, and that's not totally accurate either. And the reason why the author is not going to say what is actually linked to that is because he's probably played a part. Actually, what is this? Is this NPR? That's not necessarily true. Yeah, this is NPR. But the American media has definitely been drumming up the whole war with China thing. Like, it's been a line that a lot of the mainstream media has tap danced on for a very long time now, to the point where if you ask a Republican how they feel about China, they'll just straight up, they'll spew things that are just as racist as this, right? Where they're talking about how they're eventually going to take over the world economy, like they're going to be the #1 economy in the world, and that means inevitably they're going to do what they think China would do, which is what America would do and has done, is that they're eventually just going to start spreading out, and in like 30 years everyone's going to be Chinese and speaking Chinese, and they're going to put all the white people in camps, and the straight white men will not be allowed to speak anymore. That kind of crazy shit, right? So Stop AAPI Hate praised the legislation for investing in community-centered solutions and provisions to mitigate anti-Asian rhetoric, but said further legislation is needed to address the root causes of systemic racism and oppression. No shit. Because the Act centers criminal law enforcement agencies and its solutions, it will not address the overwhelming majority of incidents reported to our site which are not hate crimes, but serious hate incidents, the coalition said in a statement after the House passage. So that's true as well. Attorney General Merrick Garland called the bill signing an important step toward protecting everyone in our country from acts of hate and intolerance. The Department of Justice is proud to play a central role in implementing this legislation, he said in a statement following the signing. Investigating and prosecuting hate crimes is a top priority deeply rooted in the department's founding. We'll use the new law to enhance the aggressive measures we are taking to combat crime motivated by bigotry and discrimination. So this is more of that Democrat shit that fucking Republicans know exists, and they use as ammo against Democrats. And of course we as leftists understand, which is like, this is just more shit to say that they're doing something but not actually doing anything. Like I said at the top of the section, like, this does not fucking form a force field around all Asian people in the country that when you try to hit them with a bat, the fucking bat just splinters and shatters like Jackie Robinson cracking a fucking home run. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you try to punch an Asian person, your hand just disintegrates into their face, like that scene from Luke Cage, right? Like, that's not what this does. This gets the Democrats to say that they did something and pat themselves on the back for a job well done, to make the thing that was already illegal even more illegaler, even though a lot of it isn't even fucking reported. A lot of it is done by police. And on that note, in reference to what Burr was saying earlier, it's interesting to me how we have this popping off, but we can't get some kind of, like, can we get an act about, like, the police killing black people across the country? Is that, like, because we paid lip service to that when we were trying to get ourselves elected last year, and when we frenzied all those poor votes, people like Stacey Abrams and stuff like that having to carry water for you to fucking piggyback your fucking lethargic ass across the finish line to win the election that the Republicans still question, because that's how close it was, and that's how fucking stupid they are. But can we get something done about the police in poor black neighborhoods fucking people up, or is that just going to be considered another unfortunate consequence of normal life in America? Because it kind of seems like that's the case, especially considering that Kamala Harris was, that I probably have been pronouncing her name wrong throughout this, and I apologize, but she was the top cop in California, you know what I'm saying, literally locking people up. So I mean, yeah, I guess we're just going to continue to have the same. This is where horseshoe theory comes into play. Actually, it's not even really horseshoe theory, because if you scratch a liberal, then a Nazi bleeds, right? So the most racist and disgusting people that you know, the most horrible white supremacists, have the exact same view about black people that the liberals do, right? That there's just something about their, and I mean, like, the white supremacists who pretend like they're not white supremacists, like the Republicans, where they'll say that black people deserve to be over-policed, locked up, beaten, shot in the streets, so on and so forth, because their culture, right? The gang culture, the music, they'll blame everything except the conditions that produce the people that do these things, right? So, like, it's because the music is too violent, it's because movies are too violent, it's because there's not enough emphasis on being there for your kids, it's because there's too many single parent homes, even though the prison industrial complex just snatches up all the black men, right? So it's just, I don't know. This shit's kind of infuriating to think about. Is games cartoons? Yeah, facts, Bird. Basically, King Red X. So hate crimes were like already a law, like against the law. First of all, assault is against the law. Like, if you walk up to some stranger on the street and just start beating the shit out of them, regardless of what color they are, that's illegal. Like, the police will come arrest you. And like, conceivably, in theory, like, if you walk up to any rando on the street and just start beating the shit out of them, the police ride by, they'll get out and probably arrest you, right? So that's already fucking illegal. But then you have to put this modifier on it because you refuse to take any actual action about the problem, where you have, okay, there's racist people in the country, so if you beat the shit out of somebody, that's already illegal. But if you beat the shit out of them in a racist way, that's even more illegaler. And even though the person that did it is going to have a fucking crazy time proving it, if they even report it, the person is probably not going to face any consequences for this whatsoever, but that we think that threat is there. And that's one of the number one ways that you can demonstrate that the law, in terms of why poor people need to be over policed is bullshit. If you're talking about the law in terms of deterrent to commit crimes, clearly they don't give a fuck that hate crimes are illegal. They never gave a fuck that hate crimes. First of all, hate crimes didn't even always exist legally, right? In terms of like lynchings and that kind of shit's always existed since the conception of America. But the idea that something that the law would view that as especially heinous in terms of how they were going to punish you is very recent in the grand scheme of things. So like that's something that so few people actually get fucking pinched for, is basically what I'm trying to say. So this just doesn't make sense to fucking do from an actual strategic standpoint. But it's damn good PR for other like white liberals who don't see the problem, so they don't understand how serious the problem is, which means that they don't understand what the solutions to the problem are. So you can do shit like this, and everybody's going to pat themselves on the back, and the people who roll their windows up and lock their doors when they have to drive through the hood, who live like 20 fucking minutes from the closest black person, other than like the mailman or whoever, right? Fucking, they don't give a shit about this. They're like, oh cool, we're doing something, yay, Black Lives Matter. And speaking of that kind of wild, goofy shit, so I guess there was a ceasefire in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I'm gonna read this bit here, and then I'm gonna play some Soulcalibur. After the shooting war over Gaza wound down early Friday, it seems that the Israelis and Palestinians may be poised to return to their fragile, if febrile, status quo. Israeli officer... Wait. Friday. May 20. I guess this is recent? Or I guess it's Friday there. I don't know. I'm stupid. It seems that the Israelis and Palestinians may be poised to return to their fragile, if febrile, status quo. Israeli officials are already claiming their military objectives were met after close to 2 weeks of relentless bombardment of the blockaded Gaza Strip. After firing more than 4,000 rockets into Israeli territory, the Islamist group Hamas, which rules the Gaza Strip, may also declare a kind of victory. It is likely to emerge from the fighting as it has after previous rounds, battered but unbowed, and perhaps boosted in the eyes of some of its brethren for having confronted an Israeli state that maintains an unflinching occupation over millions of Palestinians. Never mind the hundreds of Palestinians and a dozen people in Israel who lost their lives in the process. And that's the thing, is like, if it's not Hamas, the only way you can stop that kind of shit from happening is to just completely fucking eliminate the Palestinian population. Like, any Palestinian person, just sweep through the Gaza Strip and sweep through the West Bank and just fucking like murder everyone. That is the only way you will ever get rid of some type of like, in my eyes, it's like functioning more like a militia, right? And this is not an endorsement of any of Hamas's shit, because I am not well versed in this shit at all. Like, I barely know anything about this. I'm just saying, from the perception of these people as impoverished people living in the world's largest open air fucking prison, right? In prison here, you have gangs that form partially to protect themselves against the fucking guards, right? Like BGF and so on and so forth. And that's not an endorsement of all the shit that they do, because you have to be a certain type of person to be in that type of organization anyway, you know what I mean? But what else? That type of shit would emerge regardless. Like, as long as you have oppressed people, you're going to have people that want to fight back and get violent about it, because you are visiting violence upon them every day of their lives, whether it's visible or invisible, whether it's the violence of poverty and destitution or the violence of actual physical demonstrable police violence or military violence, right? So yeah, of course they're gonna fight back somehow, but Yet to many analysts and close observers of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, there may be no going back to the way things once were. The intensity of this latest round of violence took both the Israeli government and the Biden administration by surprise. It should not have. The coals were stoked far from Gaza by the provocations of Israeli police and emboldened Jewish far-right vigilantes marching through Jerusalem. Sorry, my printer ran out of filament. I was just checking to see if it was... Hang on. Sorry, cool. Okay. Oh man, that doesn't sound good. So, sorry. Where was I? I got distracted. I'm sorry. So, the coals were stoked far from Gaza by the provocations of Israeli police and emboldened Jewish far-right vigilantes marching through Jerusalem. Palestinian protests against planned evictions in the contested Holy City and the clashes that ensued all came to a head when Israeli security forces decided to storm Al-Aqsa Mosque. Hamas saw an opportunity to don the mantle of the defender of the third holiest site in Islam, as well as broader Palestinian claims to Jerusalem, and launched its attacks. The resulting war sprawled across the land between the river and the sea, with clashes in the West Bank as well as between Arab and Jewish Israelis in cities inside Israel's 1967 borders. The explosion of tensions exposed the internal dysfunctions among both the Israeli and Palestinian political camps. For the former, 2 years of ceaseless electioneering and the failure to form a stable ruling coalition either with or without Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu weakened governance and has brought far-right groups once considered too extremist into the political mainstream. For the latter, a crisis of legitimacy facing the beleaguered Palestinian Authority and its aging president Mahmoud Abbas has only intensified. Hamas's renewed militancy followed a decision by Abbas to scrap the first planned Palestinian elections after more than a decade and a half. Sheesh. And of course, Rashida Tlaib coming through with the heat. If my colleagues even mention Palestinians disturbing human rights, they are aggressively bullied by those who prefer Israel as it is. Apartheid, oppression, occupation, and all. My message to you all is this. Do not be afraid to stand for justice. The American people are with us. Israeli and U.S. officials may tout the return of calm after a ceasefire, but experts fear the opposite. There is no meaningful dialogue between an unpopular, unfeebled PA and a right-wing Israeli government where many politicians now openly reject the idea of an independent Palestinian state. Israel's entrenched system of control over the Palestinian territories and its creeping annexation of Palestinian lands, unchecked for years by an acquiescent United States, may only provoke more angry resistance. Given Israeli efforts to marginalize Abbas and the PA, it will not be easy to keep the West Bank out of the next conflict or even the current one, wrote Khalil Shikaki, a Palestinian political analyst and pollster. Security coordination between Israel and the PA will not be enough to contain the rising flames, and given the rhetoric around annexation, no right-wing Israeli government will be willing or able to renew a political process that would require negotiations with the PA leadership, even for small incremental steps. This state of affairs was a long time coming. In a recent survey of U.S.-based Middle East scholars, a majority now viewed the two-state solution as an impossibility. The population of Jewish settlers in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, where a Palestinian state is supposed to emerge, has grown sevenfold since the 1990s. Once on the fringes of Israeli politics, the settler movement now makes up the vanguard of the Israeli right. And like its U.S. allies in the Republican Party, the Israeli right has no interest in pursuing the two-state goals enshrined by the Oslo Accords in 1993. The official Israeli abandonment of negotiated compromise, alongside continued settlement expansion and the forcible relocation of Palestinian families in East Jerusalem and communities in the West Bank, made a new crisis almost inevitable, wrote Tamara Kaufman-Witz, a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution. It made inescapably obvious what was already clear to many, that the Oslo framework was exhausted and the rationale for the prevailing order in the West Bank, including the existence of the Palestinian Authority, was defunct. Now, a growing number of dignitaries and diplomats who staked their careers on building two states recognize that the facts on the ground make it a fantasy. The Oslo framework is done. It's over, said Marwan Washer, a former Jordanian diplomat and politician who played a lead role in the Arab Peace Initiative 2 decades ago, at a virtual event hosted by the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace on Wednesday. I'm a two-stater by training. I'm a one-stater by reality. Other veterans of the post-Oslo era who participated in the same event were less emphatic. Tzipi Livni, a former Israeli foreign minister, hoped pragmatic moderates on both sides could revive the peace process. In current circumstances, that seems more a wish than a solution. Daniel Kurtzer, a former U.S. ambassador to Israel, insisted that the two-state solution remain the only policy goal worth striving for, preferable to a single binational state or an Israeli-Palestinian confederation where Jerusalem is shared, or other mooted arrangements. Anybody who has analyzed alternatives to a two-state solution knows that none of them work, he said. Let's make the rights the central argument for people, Washer countered, pointing to an evolving conversation within the Palestinian movement and abroad, including among U.S. Democrats, where the focus is shifting away from the Palestinians' lack of statehood to their lack of equal rights within Israel. Let's keep talking about the shape of a solution, but ignoring the rights of the people is not sustainable. Let's watch this.
Well, the strike, Amy, is a historical event. For the first time since 1936, that's 12 years before the Nakba, the catastrophe of the Palestinian people, or the founding of the State of Israel. For the first time ever, we are striking in all over Palestine, from the river to the sea. So what's happening right now, I mean, everything started few weeks ago with a popular uprising. You see youth demonstrating everywhere in Palestine, in Jaffa, in Nazareth, in Haifa, in Lid, and in Jerusalem, and in Gaza, all for Jerusalem, all for Sheikh Jarrah. These demonstrations were countered by a lot of police brutality instantly, and resulting in the clashes, the violent clashes, that then turned into basically Palestinians defending themselves every night against attacks by Israeli settlers and the Israeli police. Now, let me go into Lid and describing what's happening in Lid. Lid, my hometown, also Hebrew, in Hebrew they call it Lod, was a Palestinian city that was occupied in 1948, right? Nowadays they call it a mixed city. What happened in that mixed city is that 15 years ago, when they evicted those settlers from Gaza, they moved them into Lid, and these settlers moved into Lid with a very clear and declared goal of Judaizing the city, meaning these Jewish supremacists who were removed from Gaza went into Lid, and mind you, Lid is only 10 minutes from Tel Aviv, 5 minutes from the airport. We're not talking about a city in the West Bank. And started Judaizing the place. They started building their own settlements. They started moving into Palestinian neighborhoods. And we have been seeing a rise in house demolitions for Palestinian people in the past 15 years. The average of houses being demolished a year is somewhere between 10 to 15 houses. Before the settlers moved into Lid, only 2 or 3 houses a year got demolished. The demolitions come because 80% of the people who live there, their houses were built without a building permit because the authorities won't issue one, so that they can come later and maybe use it as a political whip to punish the local population.
So that's kind of fucked up. Palestinians themselves are trying to make that last point clear. A mass general strike this week saw the joint participation of Arab Israelis, almost all of whom see themselves as Palestinians, and Palestinians in the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza. Analysts of the Palestinian scene see the glimmers of a new area of mobilization. First, the quiescence of the Palestinian people, accused often most forcefully from within their own communities of apathy and indifference, never amounted to acceptance of defeat. They have shown that Israel cannot persist in its policies without paying a price, wrote Tarek Bakoni in the London Review of Books. Second, regardless of whether a broader movement emerges out of the current moment, the collective eruption across historical Palestine shows that the Palestinians remain a people despite the false hope of partition, the all too real separation of their territories, and the deep fragmentation of their political and social life. For years, Israelis have made peace with the notion that they can manage, however brutally, their relationship with Palestinians instead of resolving it, wrote Yusuf Manaya in the New York Times. This has been aided by a process of walling off the ugliness of their rule. Gaza, caged and besieged, might as well have been on a different planet. Israelis could drive throughout the West Bank practically uninterrupted by the sight of Palestinians. Palestinian citizens of Israel have largely been relegated to neglected, concentrated areas. But Menayer added, the unrest and mass protests have confronted Israelis with a new reality. Palestine is not over there, but is everywhere around them. Yep. So, that's all the news I got for tonight. This is what I tried to 3D print. I tried to 3D print X-Men badge. Didn't quite finish. Ran out of filament. It's a pretty decent print though. I definitely need something to get my bed adhesion a little bit better because the print was moving while the printer was still printing. So that's, I feel like that's where a lot of the imperfections have come from. If I could get that working properly, I could probably do some really good perfect prints. But that's all I got. I'm gonna play some Soulcalibur now. Rank match, rank match. Yeah, I hope you have a good night too, Jenna. Oh my goodness, and they're gonna take points away from me because I quit before the match was over. Oh, that's the only thing I hate about this game.
Believe in your power and reach for victory.
I can't run away.
Need to exterminate the past.
Uh-oh.
Battle 1. Fight!
You're finished.
Yo, thank you for the... thanks for the dono. I appreciate you. Sorry. Oh, I should have known this person was going to mash buttons.
Battle 2. Fight!
Thank you for the $25 donation. I appreciate you. Wrecked. Medieval Deadpool. Nah, this is Night Thrasher.
Battle 3. Fight!
Nope. Oh no! Oh my god, I can't believe it. Night Thrasher, Night Thrasher's dope. I appreciate you, EggCheckCRHON717. HC Roan, I guess is how that is. Hardcore Roan. Is it Hardcore Roan? I appreciate you. Alright, let me try hard so I can beat this goofball. Nope. Oh, what?
No more use for you.
Oh my goodness. Big titty goth girlfriend.
Believe in your power and I can't. Battle 1. Fight!
I can do that too. Oh my goodness. Bruh. Come on, bro. Ridiculous. Wow.
Battle 4. Fight!
Come on! You're finished! I can do it!
That was almost perfect. The fact that you can do that out of a grab is so fucking strong. Nope. I'm mashing X like I'm still playing in Mortal Kombat.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
Almost, but yeah, still gave her the beans. This joint looks lit. I'm about to reprint this, try to reprint it, because it looks tough. If I would have completed it, it would have been tough. Let's paint that up. Let's paint that hoe right up. Looking tough.
Battle 1. Fight!
I knew that was a while. Now she's gonna spam that shit. Ah!
Battle 2. Fight!
How did that hit me? Out of the grab, of course. That's so fucking scrubby.
Battle 3. Fight!
What's up, Vulcan? The sweat right there was insane. Wow.
I won't kill you yet.
The fact that I ducked that grab was so sweaty. I should have won. I'm clearly sweaty.
Believe. Battle 1. Fight!
It passed right through her fucking body, dude. Goofball ass guest characters, dude.
Battle
Custom hitboxes.
Fight!
What up, vibe?
Battle 3. Fight!
Yo, Drummer Boy, thanks for the follow. Ah, I'm stupid. Yo, thanks for the raid. That's so stupid. I was already affiliated. I just terminated my affiliate contract. The stream's going well. I appreciate you guys coming through. What's up, All in IC? What's up, Tipsy OW? What up, Drummer Boy? What up, King Red X? This game's called Soulcalibur 6. The first Soulcalibur came out in 2000. Well, not 2000. First Soulcalibur came out in 9/9/99 because it was a launch title for the Dreamcast, a console that might be older than some of you who are in the stream right now. But it was one of my first consoles, and it was my favorite console. It was a sequel to a game on the PlayStation in the arcades called Soul Edge. That was out in 1998, I want to say. But essentially, 21 years later, this is that game. 22 years. Ridiculous. Let me try hard.
Fight!
And it hits behind her. This is goofy. That's gonna kill me. Oh, right on, Tipsy OW. I appreciate you.
Battle 3. Fight!
All these fucking moves, dude. Like,
Battle 4. Fight!
oh my fucking god. This character needs to put some more clothes on, I guess. That's how you feel. I knew that shit was coming. The fucking grab. What a scrub.
I won't kill you yet.
Hello? What? You can't type goo? Wild, wild. Keck W. Keck W. Uh-oh. 2K21? Nah, I've been thinking about getting 2K21 though.
Victory.
I can't run away. Do not delude yourself, thou wretched fool.
Battle 1. Fight!
Let us begin.
I'm a scrub for all that. I'm a scrub for all that. I try to do the most scrubby shit.
Battle 2. Fight!
Nice backdash. Of course.
Battle 3. Fight!
Wow. You could tell I haven't played this game in a little while.
I can't run away. Do not delude your...
Battle 1. Fight!
Dirty round. What up, Dim Burrow?
Victory will not come easy.
Soulcalibur 2? Yeah, Soulcalibur 2 is dope. I like Soulcalibur 2.
Fight!
He was mad that round.
Battle 3. Fight!
I can do... I can do...
Oh, nice read.
Feel this? That's how... Let us begin. Go get
Oh, shit. Damn, what a close round. Nah, I don't play PG. I don't really play golf games. I'm not a big golf guy.
Fight!
I definitely want to play Hunt soon. Hunt is probably going to be next Wednesday. Oh my goodness.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
Excuse me, but Amy
Oh man, yeah, I got wrecked there. I'm not gonna lie. Not going to lie, I got clapped. Oh, excuse me, I got me cheeks clapped.
Believe in your power and reach for victory.
I can't run away.
Battle 1. Fight!
Yeah, I'm not fluent in Spanish. I'm trying to learn, but I'm definitely not fluent in Spanish. Oh wow, he's really gonna do the same move over and over again? Come on, bro.
Battle 2. Fight!
Soulcalibur.
Battle 3. Fight!
Nope. Goofy Mitsu.
Battle 4. Fight!
Bring it back. Get out. He is mashing.
Final battle. Fight!
Oh, that was dumb on my part. The cross map whiffs. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, dude. This kid is so bad. Alright, I gotta beat this kid. Oh, and he left. He didn't even want the rematch. He knew what time it was. What a scrub, dude. What a scrub. He knows. He knows exactly what time it is. Bling, blong, bling, blong, blong, blong. The music is so just, I don't know what it is about the music. What up, Xavier Ratcliffe? Yeah, elevator music at its finest? Yeah, for sure. I'll get a couple more games in before I end it off tonight. There's some really dope 3D printable designs of Noob Saibot's sickle. This is Soulcalibur 6. Any plans this weekend? Go to Chambersburg Saturday and messing around with my 3D printer some more this weekend. Hopefully printing up some Mortal Kombat masks. I got a few I'm looking at here that I want to print. Ooh, there's a Sector helmet. That's tough. Ooh, there's a Shao Kahn helmet as well. Probably have to print that in 4 parts. My day was okay, Cole Vulcan. How was your day, Vulcan? You got your driver's license yesterday. Congratulations. That's awesome. Uh-oh, it's a Taki.
Battle 1. Fight! Battle 2. Fight!
Come. I was saving this. No escape.
Oh, I'm plus.
You leave me no choice.
Fight!
Come. Sing!
I can do it.
was almost a perfect.
Battle 4. Fight!
Come.
I mean, I'll come back with a magic pixel victory. Not a perfect.
Focus and release.
That was a nutty one.
Battle 1. Fight!
Come. No escape.
Battle 2. Fight!
Nope. He's mad. I know he's mad about that grab.
You leave me no choice.
Fight!
I'm stupid.
No escape. Focus and release. No escape. I was saving this.
Ooh, disrespectful.
The goddess of victory smiles upon the strong of spirit.
Wasn't as hard as I thought.
Dirty. Just dirty. Yeah, this game is fun, Xavier. I play it on PC and on PS4.
Challenge your limits.
Last week played at Spawn in it? Yeah, that was Soulcalibur 2. That game was good.
Let your battle one. Fight.
I botched that. I could have won right there.
Battle two. Fight.
Get ready. Fight.
Battle three. Fight.
Come. See. Time to die. Focus and release. Hey, see.
Oh, that sucks, vibe. That sucks. I'm stupid for that. I shouldn't have hit the baseball slide.
Claim victory and bask.
Want to go again?
Battle one. Fight.
Thanks for the like, Michelle.
Battle two. Fight.
I was saving this.
Oh, she landed in it. That sucks.
You leave me no choice.
It's a W. That is a W. Quick W.
Battle 1. Fight!
Get ready, slice.
Nope, rest in peace.
Battle 2. Fight!
I can do it. I can do it.
Suplex City.
You leave me no choice.
Fight!
I can do it.
Focus and release.
Ooh. I'm the one that's winning. I'm the dude with the mask on.
This is as far as you go.
Oh, I thought I teleported above that shit.
Now stay down. No escape.
Oh, what the fuck? I win. I win.
The goddess.
Fucked up my trench coat though. Fucked up my coat. Yeah, he don't want no more smoke, I guess. No more smoke. Yes. Bum 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 bum.
Challenge your limits. Let your desire for victory take you beyond your limits.
I can't run away.
My, you look like fun.
Battle 1. Fight!
Come on.
Oh, I could have won that.
Battle 2. Fight!
I'm stupid. I should have laid on the ground.
Over so soon?
Battle 3. Fight!
I can do it.
Battle 4. Fight!
Right over that goofy shit. Oh, the foot poke.
Over so soon? That was one good fight.
Alright, one more game and I'm probably going to hop off. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll do the news and I'll also do the King of the Hill tomorrow. If you want to come play Mortal Kombat 11, we're going to be doing the King of the Hill. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to be the news, and then after that it's going to be King of the Hill time.
Battle 1. Fight!
I botched that.
Playtime is
Battle 2. Fight!
You now.
Oh. Gotta be mad about that one.
Battle 3. Fight! Battle 4. Fight!
I can do it.
Playtime is
I'm stupid. Oh. It's close.
Final battle. Fight!
I can do it. I can do it. That's
I rather.
Damn.
What's this? Over so soon. Try looking.
Thanks y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all. That was a good match. I'll catch y'all later. Catch y'all tomorrow for the King of the Hill. Peace out. Actually, let me figure out who we're gonna raid. Yeah, have a good night, y'all. There's a decent enough amount of you. Let's go ahead and raid someone. Let's see who we want to raid. I haven't logged into Twitch, so I have to do that first. Hope everyone has a good night. Hope everyone had a good night. And it's almost Friday, so yeah, that's fun, right? We're supposed to spend all of our waking moments just waiting for it to be Friday so that we can enjoy the weekend and then not be able to wait for it to be Friday again. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Let's see. Calamity's on. I think I want to raid Calamity. Mad Hatter's also on. I haven't raided Mad Hatter in a while. I think I might raid Mad Hatter. Yeah, I'm gonna raid Mad Hatter. Seems like a good idea. So, yeah, it actually is Friday right now. Actually, you're right. You are 100% correct. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we're gonna raid Mad Hatter.